And it's been something that's kind of just been like a code that's kept me grounded and disciplined and focused. And
I like it.
It's been like a backbone of discipline through fitness and martial arts. It's like there's always this other thing that keeps my discipline to a certain degree. So when I have to be disciplined in fitness or other aspects of life, whether it's work, relationships, whatever it is, it's like I know I already have the capacity for the discipline.
Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast, the show designed to help gym owners improve and grow their business. I'm your host, Andres Escobar, and I'm so grateful to have you join us today. Today we have Ryan Conforti. He started training in martial arts in 2005 while studying exercise and science at FAU and went on to become a personal trainer in 2012 before opening his own martial arts studio in 2020. He is an avid jiu-jitsu practitioner and competitor. If this is your first time listening to our show, please consider subscribing to the podcast and share this episode with someone whom you think will enjoy it. As you dive into this episode, listen to how Ryan has a strict code of discipline and how it helped him grow his martial arts gym. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast. I'm your host, Andres, and today I have Ryan Conforti. Thank you so much for jumping in and coming here to our studio, and I really appreciate you doing this for us and sharing your journey with everyone out there, man. I really appreciate this. It means taking time away to, reach out and just share what's really happening or what happened in your life through this journey of gym ownership. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you came to be here. If you could tell us over there.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
When I went to college at FAU, there was an opportunity for free martial arts training at the college, and I'd always wanted to do it when I was younger, but never had the access to it. So I started with a Taekwondo club. Right after the Taekwondo club, there was a karate club, and I just started doing both. And then from there, got exposed to all the other martial arts that exist in the world.
Wow.
And I was just training every night after college. Just started training in the morning before I would leave for school, and just went on for a very long time. So I've always had like a mixed collection of martial arts that I've practiced, but obviously progressed up through Taekwondo and through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, did a lot. But now, the last few years, my main focus has been Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, I got into MMA a little over 10 years ago. So there's obviously a lot of Jiu-Jitsu in that, and brought over the striking experience into it. But yeah, main focus has been Jiu-Jitsu for sure.
That's awesome. Now, it's funny what you said there is like there's so many different martial arts, and like I don't think I know like even half of them, right? And so there's so many, and I think is this something like that's constantly being reinvented? Like, oh, let's combine this style with this style, Drunken Master is that a martial arts, right? It's considered martial arts, right? Drunken Master,
it's a style of kung fu, yeah.
So what's the difference between a style and a type? I guess is there a difference at all?
It could just be. They're all going to be a little bit different. So different styles of like kung fu and things like that. It's just like a little bit of a different focus, but still part of the same overall martial art, right? There is quite a bit of, I guess, mixing, but everything's kind of trending towards like when you start really mixing it, you're really talking about competitive martial arts, which would be like MMA and cage fighting and things like that. You would think that it becomes more about branching out, but it actually pulls everything a little bit tighter. And you find a little bit more consistency when you do that. As far as like the traditional martial arts, I think all the spreading out and mixing has kind of already been done. A lot of different styles kind of get noted with something specific like Taekwondo, which is my background. Yeah. Everybody always thinks that it's like all kicks, because it is, especially when you start talking about the sport. The sport is all about kicks. That's what scores, and that's what you focus on. But if you look at the moves that are in the traditional system, like right away at the beginner level, there's elbows and knees and all these other things that no one ever really associates with Taekwondo.
Yeah. Right.
But they're there. So it's not as different from like Muay Thai and some of the other striking arts as you would think.
Yeah. I know we got asked like if I've ever been in martial arts. And so, I started in Taekwondo, right? Really young, right? I think everybody starts in Taekwondo. And then later on I moved into Tang Sodo.
Right.
And then now, like the real popular thing, like you said, jiu-jitsu, right? And obviously, if it's popular, you want to provide it for your members. You want to give that ability. So why do you think jiu-jitsu is so popular right now? Like makes it like the characteristics about it that's like, you know what? Yeah, this is it.
A couple of things. I would say early on, it was considered like a relatively new martial art. Because what it was judo practitioners where judo, you're mostly focusing on the feet and focusing on throws. And there was a little bit of techniques on the ground that they brought over from traditional jiu-jitsu. So if you look back at traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu, they eventually broke off into a sport that only focused on the throwing techniques. And that's where you get judo from. And then from there, people started to focus only on the ground techniques. And that's how you developed Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So in the timeline, the sort of like hyper focus on ground techniques was considered new, so to speak. And then, so that was like the first sort of reason why people paid attention and got popular with it. And then obviously that had grown into the UFC, where jiu-jitsu athletes got to show on like a global scale their skills that maybe other people hadn't been exposed to. So then everybody was like, what is this? I've never seen it before. Now I need to learn it. And I'd probably say that that's probably the biggest revolution. And then as a practitioner, it's considered the gentle way, so to speak. And it's because unlike if you were doing boxing or kickboxing where you're getting hit and punched and stuff like that, you could wrestle at a slower pace than like traditional American wrestling, where you theoretically should and could do jiu-jitsu just about every day. You could do it. You could almost spar for the most part, like 100%.
Wow.
Where like if kickboxing, if you sparred 100%, what's going to happen? Somebody's nose is going to get broke. Somebody's going to get knocked out, things like that. Jiu-jitsu, because there's no strikes, worst thing that happens is somebody puts you in a choke, you tap out, and then you just go again. You just go again. So I think as a practitioner, that's probably one of the other reasons why it's become so popular. It's relatively easy to do consistently.
Have you seen anybody like not tap out at the right time and then cause damage themselves?
Not in practice, but in competition, yes.
Like when we're talking like UFC and that
stuff.
Yeah.
There's obviously people that have either gone unconscious or had their elbow hyperextended in a professional fight.
Yeah. I remember wrestling. Actually, I wrestled in high school, and again, the elbow hyperextended for sure. Like that's like, oh man, love that, dude. So there are guidelines in jiu-jitsu, like tapping out, to make sure that you don't go unconscious, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so in life, and we like to talk about roller coasters, there's tracks and there's handrails that we hold on to make sure that we don't fly off, go unconscious. So in your life, what has been a track or a handrail that's helped you stay focused and headed towards your goals?
Martial arts has always been a central focus of my own personal development and things like that. Outside of that, I've always been super straight edge. I just have never once experienced alcohol or drugs or anything like that.
Gotcha.
And I've just managed to just avoid it.
Yeah.
It's like I've never tried it. It's not like I did it and then decided to stop doing it. It's just, and it's been something that's kind of just been like a code that's kept me grounded and disciplined and focused. And
I like it.
it's been like a backbone of discipline through fitness and martial arts. It's like there's always this other thing that keeps my discipline to a certain degree. So when I have to be disciplined in fitness or other aspects of life, whether it's work, relationships, whatever it is, it's like I know I already have the capacity for the discipline. That's been always been a big thing.
So I know, and the word drugs can be brought out to like bigger scope, right? And so some people believe coffee is a drug, right? Right, caffeine, whatnot, right? And so no alcohol.
No alcohol.
No alcohol. Okay. Cigarettes or cigars? No cigarettes or cigars. Wow, dude, we're getting deep over here. This is coffee.
No.
Shut up, bro. That's crazy. That's wild.
I used to. There was like no energy drinks, nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Work got pretty intense, and the only thing that I'll take is I drink a lot of yerba mate. We've talked about this.
Yeah, dude, I meant to have some of that for you, but I'm like, oh god, things got crazy. I'm like, oh lord.
So that is the only sort of like caffeine.
Because I want to try it. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah,
and I do a little bit of yerba mate, but from the Argentinians, actually, from the hot, the whatever what do you call it? The gourd?
I think it's just a gourd.
The gourd. I don't know. That's awesome.
But that's the only thing that I take that's caffeinated, only because it's not very stimulating.
Gotcha.
But it wakes you up. Like there's no jitters, there's no headache, there's no negative side effects. I drink a lot of it, so that could be wrong, but there's no negative side effects. But I don't. Yeah,
I love it.
Pain pills, stuff like that. Like I don't take Tylenol, don't take medicine, never get sick, and I've just been fine.
That's a great code, dude. Like it's very rare you find somebody that has a code and they stick with it like strict. Like, we're gonna let a little this and that, right? Talking about meal plans and whatnot. I'm like, all right, there's a cheat day. Like, there's no cheat day, bro. It's no days off, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, not for me. I mean, I have to have a day off or something, but for real. I love it, dude. That's good. That speaks volumes into the persona of being able to stick to a code, know a code that you can actually stick to, and without fail, it's something you can rely on. So I love that, for just life and in general and reaching your goals. I think you hit it right on the mark. That's awesome, man. Thanks, Ryan. All right. The next one is like obstacles, right? And so I don't care what kind of code you got, you're still going to get obstacles. You're still going to have things in life where come against you and you have to overcome it somehow. I love that song. Ain't no mountain high enough or no valley low enough. I'm just going to get through it. I'm going to get to you. Right? So how do you overcome obstacles, Ryan?
I think I'm just a little bit stubborn, where if I have a goal, I'm going to find my way to do it.
Gotcha.
No matter what comes up. And so if you have that mindset from the beginning, when an obstacle does come up, it doesn't feel as daunting, because one way or the other, you're gonna get past it. Somehow you're gonna be taken care of. You're gonna be fine. And
do you believe in a higher power?
To a certain degree, yeah. I try not to get specific. This is like a whole other conversation.
I love getting into that conversation. I don't mind. Like, listen, if I get offended because you believe in a different higher power than me, then there's a problem with what I believe.
Right.
That's how I see it. Like, I can't get offended. I can't. And it's not my job to convince you that my way is the right way.
Correct. Yeah.
There's it's not my job. I will tell you and show you what it is. And if you like it and it attracts you, like, awesome, let me show you. But if you're not leaning that direction, like, go for it. Walk your path. And will it end in mine? I don't know. Will I end in yours? I don't think so. But, that's,
it was a fairly recent conversation I'd had in my life with somebody. I was trying to explain, it's like, your thing is your thing. My thing is my thing.
Yeah.
Some people like to talk about it or put words to it. And
I'm
trying to explain, it's like, it's not that I don't agree or whatever. It's like, I have my own words, and I try not to talk about it because I don't want what I've got to be like influenced or corrupted by something outside of it. So I just keep everything.
Is it your own personal thought mindset, or is it something that bigger?
I wouldn't even say that.
Oh, okay.
It's just I to a certain degree, I feel like if you start trying to put, words to something that's supposed to be, outside of even human existence, then you start to take away from what it actually is, and because you start trying to frame it into human existence.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's something that like I've always felt comfortable with.
What did you grow up as? I'm guess. Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Do you mind if I guess?
Go for it.
You Jewish?
No.
Okay. Because the reason I say that, because the Jewish, they refer to God as Yahweh. I am.
Yeah.
It's not. They don't say God. It's like it's like there's no word for it. So it's like, so I was like, that's why I thought that. So
okay.
all right.
Now, I mean, I've there's always been. It's always nice when you find the consistencies across all sorts of different belief systems.
Sure.
Technically, I guess I grew up Catholic for a while, but when I was very young, and that's probably just an Italian thing.
Right. For sure. No doubt.
But again, it's like I just try to limit the amount of outside influence. Now, if it was something I was struggling with, then I'd want to go outside and look for guidance and try to put words to something that I don't have words for. But I've always felt, I've always felt safe. I've always felt like I'm taken care of. And so I just don't even open the door for any kind of corruption. Sounds like a hard word, but it's like I've got what I've got and I'm just keeping it.
Interesting.
It's similar thought process to the whole straight edge thing. It's like I've got it, I'm keeping it, and I'm just not deviating from what I've got because I'm good.
You talked about struggles, so back to the obstacle thing.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you get through a struggle that does come across and it's bigger than you. Like you're like, oh, how can I get through this?
Yeah.
What do you do?
It could be, again, it's a version of faith. Like I know I'm going to get through it. I know I'm going to be taken care of and it's going to be okay. And it really is from that hard discipline of I'm going to see this through one way or the other. And there's been a lot of it, like even with martial arts, right? Taekwondo never really had an issue going straight through from beginner to now I'm going to be promoted to 4th degree black belt soon without any real interruption at all. But jiu-jitsu, tons of interruptions, tons of them. Started with one school, moved to a new town, had to change schools. That school closes, kind of floating around. There's a lot of convenient excuses to sort of stop doing jiu-jitsu or move to something else or whatever. But it was something that I was passionate about and wanted to see through and focus on as a martial artist. I wanted to develop those skills, and it was just one way or the other I was going to get through it. Opening my school, one of the stories I sometimes forget about now because it's so early on from when we opened, but I originally had a business partner that was helping me out and that was going to invest so that we could actually open. And like the day we got our mats, which was when we could actually start opening up, they're like, never mind, I'm going to bail on the partnership. Took all the money out of the account. So I opened my school with $60 to my name. Gosh. And I was like, I have all these mats. I don't have any members yet. Like, what are we going to do? And I was just, we just pushed through and just did the whole thing myself, and that's it.
What did you do? Like, how did you figure out how to get members in? Like, what did you accomplish? Like,
I had a few people that I was already training with.
Okay.
Which was good. But everything's about consistency.
Yeah.
Like, we train at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Right.
And that never changes. We just do that no matter what.
I love it.
And the consistency is everything. I mean, we do like 38 classes a week, something crazy like that. But it's like you'll never hear about like, oh, class is canceled today or this person's late. Or like, I'm there.
You train every day?
Every day.
Sundays even?
Yes.
Nice.
I should show you my schedule from yesterday.
Dude,
I was
I'm down, bro. Like you're local. Like let's break bread. Like let's go.
Yeah, my
like,
schedule.
I'm down to spar too. I mean, I'm gonna get whooped, but that's okay. It's all part of it.
My schedule yesterday, I was like legitimately booked all 24 hours of the day
with clients.
Oh yeah.
Oh sweet.
Yeah, it was just training class after class after class.
Class, not just one-on-one.
No, I do classes. Yeah.
Nah, that's awesome. Do you have trainers with you?
I have a couple senior students.
Yeah.
I've started to hand off a couple classes too.
Yeah.
But I still teach just about all.
Is there certification inside of your world? I don't know your martial arts world that much. I know the gyms, you know, they have NASM, you have ISA, all this stuff.
There is, depending on the school and the system. Like Taekwondo, you get a certification at every rank, even the beginning ones.
Right.
But and like, you know, they matter, but they're kind of just like through your local school. When you get to black belt, like my black belt certifications are certified with the Kukiwon in Korea.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's interesting.
Like, I don't want to say it's like more legit, but it's more legit.
Yeah.
And then even in jiu-jitsu, again, it's like you could have certifications for your home school, or if you're part of a bigger organization, they might have their own certifications, but it doesn't really count until black belt. And then every system's different. So it's like,
the whole apprenticeship student mindset makes sense. Like you got to like go through the ranks.
Yes.
And then once you reach there, then you have the option. Hey, do you want to be a teacher?
Right.
Not necessarily you have to be a teacher. You say you want to.
Yeah.
I think I like that idea. That's interesting because imagine, you know, gym members, you know, it's like, I've now mastered the squat rack. I am the squat rack master. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Right. The curl, the calf raise, you know, it's like, oh, you master those things, but it's more about mastering, knowing the anatomy and the way muscles function and diet and form stuff. So it's, you know, I guess it does take a student, but they have to be like deep into it, not like go as a member, like go once a month. Like you're not gonna become a trainer for sure. But that's interesting. But with you guys, they can go once a week. Was that usually the once a week they go? What's the minimum, or they go as many?
They can go as many times as they want.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a couple students that train every day. We have a couple students that train twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think there's a lot of cross that can be learned from those different disciplines or different practices, for sure.
I think so. I mean, you know,
you used to run a gym, Ultimate Fitness.
Right. Yeah.
So you understand that.
Right. I had a personal training business for over 10 years now. Yeah. And in that was kind of branching out a lot of different disciplines. I competed in a lot of obstacle races. I've done physique shows. I've done heavy powerlifting. Obviously with martial arts, I've gone through fight camps, cutting weight, all of those sort of aspects of it. But yeah, for a short time, a couple of years ago, I got brought on to take over a gym downtown here for a little bit and run that gym.
What would you say would be something that you've taken from the gym experience and brought it over to your martial arts? Go is a beautiful word to hear when you're scoring on the soccer field. This last World Cup was won by Argentina because of one important player. Yeah, you got it. It was the goalie. He secured the win for the team, and in the same way, ReviewBiz platform will catch negative reviews before they go online. In addition, it helps you score and promote fresh new reviews so you can crush the competition. So don't let those big box gyms take your clients. ReviewBiz will help you build your online presence and turn your own members into your best sales reps. Get your first 5 reviews for only $1. All you got to do is go to reviewbiz.io/try to get started.
I think it's just the things that are similar are, you know, having the relationships with your members. You know, it's kind of easy to, I guess, like at a fitness gym to just have like faceless people come in and work out, but that's wasn't the nature of how I ran things, probably because of martial arts. Like, you know, I know everybody. So even when I was running fitness gym, same thing. Like, I knew everybody. I was there all day, every day. And being able to develop those kind of relationships, I think is very important.
Yeah, knowing your members and connecting. Yeah, it's a big thing. It's not just coming in and just do your thing. I love it. Yeah. All right, so in the fitness industry, in the martial arts industry, you're open to talk about either because you experience both of those. And so, what is the biggest issue that you see right now that I hand you this magic wand and you go ahead and you change it? Like, this needs to be like, it's not going to change until I do this magic wand and boom, done.
With fitness, I feel like we're slowly kind of getting to where we should be with fitness. Because it used to be big box bodybuilding type of gyms, and that's what was popular. And then we kind of started doing this CrossFit thing, which I think was a terrible idea. It's brought a lot of good.
Yeah.
But it was like an overstep in the wrong direction. But now I feel like because of the influence of CrossFit, what has happened is these big box gyms that were all just machines have started to incorporate more of the barbell free weights, the kettlebells, the open space to actually move and not just sit down.
Right.
Which has been huge. So we're still like 10
years.
Movement's
so important.
Yeah. Dude. We're like 10 years behind what was actually revolutionary.
Yeah.
As far as like what's accessible to the general public. But interestingly enough, I think not just for CrossFit, but I think the popularity of MMA and combat sports, you obviously got to see the difference in how those athletes train. Because we could watch football and field sports athletes train, and you might see them do stuff like the NFL Combine, which is, you know, some lifts and things like that. And then when you go watch them do their training for their sport, like their agility and their running and stuff, all of a sudden you don't relate to it, so you don't see the value in it because you're not doing a field sport. But when you have a combat athlete, you know, like you might see them lift some weights, but it's not powerlifting. They're not sitting on a machine. And then when you watch the rest of what they're doing, all of a sudden they're, you know, slamming medicine balls, they're doing compound movements, they're running, they're pushing a sled. It doesn't look like, you know, they're running on a field doing, you know, silly agility ladders and stuff like that. So all of a sudden now you see something that's maybe unfamiliar, but you can relate to it because it's actual biomechanics and movement.
Yeah. What do you think about animal movement exercises? Because I love that stuff too.
Like animal flow?
Love it.
So animal flow is good. There's a couple different systems out there. Budokan's another one. Phase 6 is very good. They're a really good sort of like ground-based mobility system, and they're finally coming to the U.S. They're Australian-based, but they're finally coming to the U.S. So there's a lot of value in that. Sometimes what can happen, and not to like specifically say that animal flow does this, but sometimes what happens is it becomes so defined that it becomes less about the movement, and then it just becomes about like moving for the sake of moving, where it's dance. And like, there's nothing wrong with dance. Dance is very physical, but then you start to deviate. It's like, are we still doing fitness or are we dancing? Because there's a difference. And people would do that.
Okay, so I mean, Zumba. It brings me to Zumba right there,
example,
right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's Zumba's a different. Like, is that a martial arts? No, I don't think so. But capoeira is a dance, but also a fighting technique as well. So that's where it gets. That's where my mind goes. Is there anything else that comes to mind when you think about dancing when you're talking about that?
I've seen some people do. Are you familiar with like steel mace movements, things like that.
Oh, with like the
the long clubs. Yeah.
Clubs. Yeah.
So, like those are great for some resisted movement practice, and they have a lot of things.
You see, right now I've seen people with like these massive swords that you see like in Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah,
and they're like doing these movements.
Yeah,
and it's like I'm like that's gotta be like wow.
And I saw somebody doing that with like a barbell with like 10 pounds on the end.
Yeah,
but anyway, like with the steel mace, it's good. It's not as versatile as people will sometimes make it out to be. I use them a lot. I feel like they're actually pretty limited, but then the way you create versatility is you start to, again, apply more movement, and then eventually it just turns into dance. It's like, well, just because we're moving doesn't mean that we're actually progressing any kind of fitness. And so the latest thing that I've seen, are you familiar with David Weck?
I have to see him.
He's great.
Watch.
He's a genius, and I love him. And he's started to sort of like cross paths a little bit with the same sort of thought process as functional patterns, which most people have like a love-hate relationship with functional patterns, but they also will sometimes dive into this little puddle of genius that I wish everybody else would see. And then other times they'll do something and I'm like, I don't know about that.
What happened there?
Yeah. But with David Weck, he's an innovator. He's the guy who created the Bosu ball and a couple of other materials. Like he has a steel club.
Oh, the ball that you kind of swing and go around?
No, the Bosu ball's the half stability ball that's on the ground.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
And
especially for ankle.
If you follow how he uses it, it's a great tool. But if you walk into a gym and you see like how Joe Schmo, the trainer, uses it, it's not so great. But what he started to do now is include rope flow, which is to hone in this focus of like head over toe and having perfect balance. And so rope flow as a practice, the way that he teaches it is, again, it's genius.
Right.
But then what happens is when other people see it and then they replicate it, it turns into dance. And they're like, oh man, I spent a whole bunch of time today doing rope flow and working on my mobility. And I'm like, no, you're just dancing. And you're not doing anything.
Interesting. I see what you mean, dude. This is great. I mean, we can literally go into this really deep because
I might have strong opinions.
Yeah, no. And this is because I think it's important, right? Because like, listen, maybe, okay, in the beginning, you never done it before. You do it. And now what happens? You start dancing. And there's nothing wrong with dancing. You can stay fit at a certain level, but you're not going to reach another level. You're going to stay stagnant into that spot there. And so I guess it just, again, depends on why are you in the gym? Why are you here? Are you just here to, like, for example, 55 and over, 60 and over? Maybe I just want to just maintain. I'm good. I know a 60-year-old guy and he's, pickleball. You familiar with pickleball?
Yeah. It's pretty popular down here now.
Very popular down here. And so this guy like will hit it so hard and his like backhand is like explosive. And well, he trains, with this Kaiser machine. You ever heard Kaiser? Yeah. Pressure. Oh, dude. So it's like, it's amazing. He's there and he's progressing himself constantly. But if he's just constantly he says like people on the pickleball court, they're just stagnant. They're not improving better at all.
Right.
Maybe they're happy with that, right? Like, you know what? I don't need to get better. I just want to make sure I move. And so it depends on people's stuff, but it's where the goals they want to reach. But the fitness, what I'm taking from this is that fitness, we need to look at like trends and movements, and it's not, don't be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Like if you want to dance. Like it's all good. Nothing wrong with it, dude. Do yourself. Do your own. You're your own path. Dance.
Yeah.
But the fitness, we need to focus that the trainer should not allow dancing to stop their members to reach their ultimate goal. Like really know those movements, that what do they produce?
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
If you deviate from what the purpose of that exercise was. And with rope flows, like, yeah, there's obvious mobility to and coordination to do it, but it was developed as like this progressive thing for the sake of balance. And if you just lose sight of that and swing it around and say you're doing rope flow, you're really just dancing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just go lift some weights or something instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, ultimately, the results that your customers or members are getting is more important than you trying out this new rope flow that you kind of adjusted and changed to make it work for them. No, it has a function. Use it the way it's supposed to work, and that's it.
Correct.
Stick to the code, guys. Stick to the code.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Dude, so we're going to jump into the Fast Five.
Okay.
Fast Five, you've seen them. You know them.
Okay.
I got them on the screen, but I'm going to ask you so you don't have to worry about it. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. So the Furious Fast Five, who's an influential person in your life? 1 or 2 sentences.
I'm gonna go. Should I be personal or not personal? I'm gonna go with
personal or business. Like,
okay.
Yeah, you pick or both.
When I saw that,
I'll give you 2 sentences for each.
Okay. When I saw that first question, the first person that came to my mind was Eddie Bravo, because he
is that not Johnny Bravo? Is that
so Eddie Bravo sort of like revolutionized jiu-jitsu, developing specifically no-gi techniques, which is what I do.
Yeah.
So when you said most influential, probably him.
Okay.
In that aspect.
Makes sense.
Ooh, second one. I like this one.
Okay. All right. So you're not gonna go personal.
Nah, that's fine.
No.
That's
all right. Fine. Let's skip. Yeah, that was fast.
Okay.
That's it. 1 or 2 questions. Trust me, some people will take this and run like like a whole question. So what's one thing you wish you learned or knew before you began your business?
That you're allowed to say no.
In what way?
It's a huge one. I think, there's people pleasers. Their automatic default answer to everything is yes, and then they will regret that afterwards and try to backtrack. When your default answer to everything should be no, and then you could always fix it afterwards. But more specifically, the like internal conflict of feeling like you're not allowed to say no. Like there'll be a consequence for saying no. And most of the time, especially if it's your business, your anything, it's yours.
Did you ever struggle with people pleasing?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay. You still struggle with it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I am criminally generous.
Okay.
I shouldn't be, but I am. I can't help it.
Sometimes we do it because it's our gifting.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not here to put a shade over my light, and I want to let my light shine. And so sometimes we have to okay, here, I'll help you with this, but we have to give it boundaries. I think having boundaries is so important.
Yeah.
And so I used to struggle, and I don't struggle as much. And the people I struggle with the most right now are my family, like immediate family, like my children and my wife and stuff. More my children than my wife, because my wife knows no. So children, it's like, because it's like they're just like, I want to say no, but I want to say yes.
You're allowed to say no.
I'm allowed to say no. I did yesterday. My daughter wanted to. She's like, every day after school she wants to eat. I'm like, listen, honey, this lifestyle of eating out every day, like, you should pack a protein bar, my dear. Like we might not have time for us. And so that was hard. I felt it, but I do say no. Yeah. It's hard. But anyway, so Fast Five, back into the fast lane. Let's go here. What's a book, a blog, a podcast, a media you've recently consumed that positively impacted you, Ryan?
It's gonna sound lame.
Love lame.
but like, if I'm saying a podcast that positively impacted, I'm gonna say the Joe Rogan podcast, but I hate the way that sounds. It's only good because of sort of like the variety of people that he has come out, and the fact that they're like 3-hour interviews. Gosh. So for every 9 stupid, silly interviews, there'll be like one that's like really good and it's full of a lot of information. It's a really valuable guest.
What do you think about his repeat guest, Jordan Peterson?
I love him. I've seen him.
Yeah, you have. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zach went to see him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last a year ago.
Like yeah, that September. It was. Yeah,
I was there. Yeah.
That's awesome. I wish I would have gone.
Okay, yeah. So that's an even better answer. Jordan Peterson.
Take back Joe Rogan. One of his book and stuff. Yeah. It's good stuff. Yeah. He's a great guy, man. I mean, he's got some abuse and some people after him and stuff, but I think he is underappreciated. But he not really. He's not really under. He's I think he's rightfully appreciated. So I think it's all good. We gotta have some haters, man. Sometimes we gotta have them. It's just part of the role we play. What's a favorite online tool for you?
Online tool.
Yeah.
I use Adobe. Is that going to be a right answer?
That used to be not an online tool, but everything has become an online tool software wise. So yeah, Adobe is a online tool, man.
Yeah. I went to art school for
a
long time.
That's cool.
And so I got pretty familiar with graphic design, and now I use Adobe all the time for business.
For sure. So you do your own graphics type of stuff?
Yeah. I do a lot of them.
Yeah.
I do everything for the business.
Okay.
Everything. All the video editing, photos, graphics.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Your business, don't hold your business back, because that's something that if you are like, I know I'm the best one to do this. Like, yeah, give it to somebody. Mm-hmm. They're going to do 80% as good, and you'll allow yourself the time to do something else to help grow the business. Don't forget on the business, not just in it. So just want to give you that little nugget that I've learned through the process and stuff. So it's something gut crunching, because it's like, here's the rule. It's called the 10, 80, 10 rule. Ready? Mm-hmm. So 10%, this is great. This is actually from my mentor, Dan Martell. And so he goes, 10%, you ideate, you had the idea of a project, you take it 10% of the way. Give it somebody else. They'll take it 80% of the way. Then you take it back and you finalize, you feedback it, you do all that stuff, and then you finalize it with them.
I gotcha.
And that's how you're able. It's not like, here's the project, go. No, because you got to give them some guardrails, some tracks, right, like where define it, right? Let's define done. Let's make sure we use these things. And now come back. Let's work together. Done.
Gotcha.
So anyways, that's
excellent.
That's something I have to share. Okay, from the online tool, Adobe, check it out. Mobile app, beautiful, love it. And so what's one habit or practice that you believe everyone would benefit from?
Read a book.
Oh, what book are you reading right now?
Right now I'm reading The Hail Mary Project. It's recommended to me by a friend. It's from Andy Weir, the guy who wrote The Martian. So it's another, science fiction.
Okay.
Fun read.
I love science fiction, dude. Are you a Trekkie or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Okay, all right.
Never got into Star Trek. Although I can't be into Star Wars anymore either. I keep trying to watch these Disney Plus shows.
Oh, no, yeah.
They don't work.
No. Why not?
I can't get into them. There's a couple of them that have been good.
Mandalorian was pretty good, though.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to get me. Friends have been hounding me to watch Ahsoka.
Uh-huh.
And I've watched it. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I agree. I haven't been able to get into it as well. I'm more of a Trekkie.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm such a Trekkie.
A buddy of mine just binged all of it in chronological order.
I'm working on that. I went back to TOS, which is the original series. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
So I'm going through all the Captain Kirk stuff. But I've already watched all the recent stuff, except for Lower Decks, which is like the cartoon version. But I recently found out that they had, like, in 1970, they had like a cartoon version of Star Trek, which I never got to watch. Anyways, go into my recent loves right now are Star Trek and coffee.
Okay.
Oh, by the way,
I
remind
can
me.
see how those go hand in hand, though.
Again, I guess.
Mind you, there's a lot of content to get through for Star Trek.
Oh Lord, this is a lot. Yeah. Remind me before you leave. By the way, if anybody comes here as a guest, we have a special gift for you guys. So I'm gonna give you like special gift. All right, this is the last one. We are now gonna walk into. We're gonna leave the studio. We're gonna walk into our time machine.
Okay.
And the time machine is a place where we're gonna take you back to 14-year-old Ryan, and you're gonna give him a piece of advice that's gonna help him in his journey. You get out of that time machine and you see little Ryan at 14. What do you tell him?
No fast food, no soda. I think I was already working out then, but if I wasn't, go work out and start martial arts now. When I was 18, left high school, those are all the things that I did. No more fast food, no more soda. So I haven't had fast food or soda in 18 years.
That's awesome.
Again, I think I was already going to the gym, but then I started martial arts when I went to college. And doing martial arts changed everything that I did in the gym as far as how I worked out. But those things have obviously benefited my life tremendously. It's kind of hard to like put in perspective because I was a teenager and then, you know, whatever. Like, of course it benefited. I went from being a kid to an adult. But if I could have done all of those things sooner, that would have been the way to go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Ryan, thank you so much. How can everybody find you online?
Instagram, roguewavewpb.com.
Okay.
And Instagram, roguewavewpb.
Yep. Beautiful.
That's where to go.
That's it. Guys, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you, Ryan, for coming here.
Thank you.
Awesome, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Take care. Wow, that was an interesting episode. I really enjoyed what Ryan said about how his code and discipline helped him with his confidence. What was your favorite takeaway from today's episode? I really want to know and connect with you. So go ahead and share a message with me on Instagram at meetesso. By the way, that's my personal Instagram, and I would love to hear from you and your thoughts. I want to go ahead and thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the show on the platform you're currently listening on. And remember to leave us a rating and review. It helps us to improve the show, and the feedback just means the world to us. Also, check us out on YouTube. The channel is filled with a whole bunch of podcasts, other strategies on reviews, sales, and marketing. So go ahead and check that out. By the way, as always, I want to thank you so much for your encouragement, and I truly appreciate it. And I'll be seeing you next time in the Growth Zone.